Got some bad news. Oscar De La Hoya, he speaks out on the Haney versus Garcia fight. He did a new interview, and some of the things that Oscar said were rather shocking. Oscar De La Hoya, I do believe he makes a strong case to be, right? The gold medalist, Olympian, Hall of Fame fighter. In speaking of Ryan Garcia, he spoke on him in this interview multiple times, but specifically there was a section where he revealed for the Haney Garcia fight, he says that Ryan was at 30% of his true capacity for whatever reason, and basically makes it sound like there were things that went on even as close as fight week that, you know, he was kind of concerned about with Ryan Garcia, and Ryan did that to Devin Haney on 30%. So without further ado, I want you guys to hear it yourself. Then your boy Ego can comment on it further. But I think the whole 30% is crazy if you look at how the fight played out. So roll the clip.
Was Ryan Garcia's drunk in his room and he's with women. I'm like, what? Is this what I have to deal with the whole week? Imagine if Ryan Garcia was 100%, what he would do to Devin Haney.
Right.
Do I want to see a rematch? No, it doesn't call for it. I think Ryan he swept, he just mopped. I mean, it was crazy. You know, it was what Ryan Garcia, he just made him look like an amateur. You know, I don't care if they say he was on steroids and this and that. He was 30% up in that ring. 30%. Imagine if he was 100%.
Will he ever take it serious enough to be that 100%?
I believe he will. I really, really do. I think, you know, in order to lift yourself back up, you have to touch the floor. You know, you have to slip and touch the floor.
30%.
And I think if Ryan Garcia, and I know he has the strength to do it, I think he will come back better, stronger than ever. Hey, please help us. Ryan Garcia's drunk in his room and he's with women. I'm like, what?
So right there, he's telling you that Ryan is on fight week. He's in his, it said, please help us. Ryan is in his room drunk with women. And De La Hoya is like, what? Like, he's like, this is what I got to deal with on fight week? Listen.
Is this what I have to deal with the whole week? Imagine if Ryan Garcia was 100%, what he would do to Devin Haney.
See, and here's the thing. Because some people, they're going to be like, oh, Ego, that's Ryan Garcia's promoter. How do you know he was only 30%? It looked like and sounded like Ryan Garcia was in focus. Remember, everybody was like questioning if this was an act. They were questioning if Ryan was like, something was wrong with him mentally. People didn't know. So I get that this is somebody in De La Hoya who he's supposed to cover for his fighter, Ryan Garcia. But I don't just take what people say to me and then automatically book it as fact. But you could do your own research. I am a boxing reporter, so I was covering this Haney Garcia fight extensively, making videos, and Ryan was playing poker. Ryan was hooking up with OnlyFans chicks. Ryan was drinking on camera, or at least feigning that he was drinking on camera, and he did it on the weight scales. So it doesn't matter that Oscar De La Hoya is saying this only. You listen to what he's saying, plus you've seen what you actually saw and heard with your own two eyes, and it looked like Ryan was completely not focused in on the fight. So that's why I believe what De La Hoya is saying. And he's saying that it bled all the way into fight week. People were calling Golden Boy, calling him, saying, help, we need help with Ryan. He's tripping. Remember, Ryan also had that chick that said Ryan made her feel uncomfortable. You make me feel so comfortable. Ryan did the opposite. So it's not just like hearsay and Oscar De La Hoya is just making this up. We seen Ryan Garcia was like, oh, they took my phone, they took my money and locked my cards. I don't know what he was going through, but it looked weird. So for De La Hoya to say and suggest that Ryan was 30% doesn't sound far-fetched because we seen a different Ryan than we seen in the Tank fight. He was selling the Tank fight, and as I stated in my videos, he was effectively unselling the Haney fight with so many antics. He was talking about time travel, aliens. He was talking, it wasn't selling the fight. There was a lot of QAnon stuff he was doing. Let's keep going.
Right.
Do I want to see a rematch? No, it doesn't call for it. I think Ryan he swept, he just mopped. I mean, it was crazy.
That's how you know. Listen. Hey, smash the like button. I'm really the best in the business, and it's not even close. If you want true boxing news and true boxing quality content, you hear the audio, you see the visuals, you know how I get down. A lot of people, they want to be like Boxing Ego, but they're not quite Boxing Ego. I give you the facts. I give you my opinion in a nice package. I think there's a lot of people in the game that are just rushing to rush out content. I don't do that over here. I give you guys my opinion, but also give you receipts, let you hear what the guys are saying. De La Hoya, he just said, if you listen, he said, Ryan, he swept, and then he said he just mopped the boy. Like, do you know how bad the butt whooping had to be for a fighter himself, an Oscar, to say he swept and then say he mopped? Like, so Ryan just cleaned the house. He dusted, swept, mopped. You know, he bleached the tub. Like, you making it sound crazy. He's like, it was crazy. Ryan, he's saying he don't want a rematch for that reason.
Crazy. You know, it was what Ryan Garcia, he just made him look like an amateur. You know, I don't care if they say he was on steroids and this and that. He was 30% up in that ring. 30.
He said he don't care if y'all saying he was on steroids. Ryan was pretty much a shell of himself. And 30%, and he did that to Devin Haney.
30%. Imagine if he was 100%.
Will he ever take it serious enough to be that 100%?
And I think that was a good question. Will he take it serious? Because him being 30%, I will be transparent. And in all fairness, you showed up in 30% fashion. That's like, really, that's on you. Ain't nobody told you to be drinking and not taking camp serious. But nevertheless, I do think that Ryan Garcia was not focused for that. And it's so funny that Boxing Ego, I say these things, often imitated, never duplicated. I say these things in real time. People say, oh, you're hating this, that, and they kind of try to reject the opinion. But then you hear more professionals in the industry, former fighters and stuff, and then they always echo what Ego told you from the beginning. I don't have to pander. I don't have to coon. I don't have to lie and change my stance, and I don't have to apologize and correct what I previously said. Everything I said about Haney Garcia, initially, I'm still saying I think this was a bad look for Devin Haney because of the optics. You fought this guy who legit didn't look like he was taking it serious. Now you have De La Hoya confirming that he wasn't taking it serious. And with that in mind, Ryan still beat the brakes off of you for real, for real. I don't know what Devin's best moments to me in this particular fight were the moments where, look at his cheek right there. His cheek looked like blown out. But I feel like Devin's best moments were the moments where he was showing heart and he was trying to get something going, and Ryan just wasn't doing anything. And like I said, I'm not changing what I've said. There's nothing to change. In this particular fight, Ryan Garcia did not look, in my opinion, he did not look swell. He didn't look great. The moments he looked great where the flashes and glimpses where you see the speed, the power, and the timing, and he was fighting real spotty, real in spurts, right? Like, it's like, have you ever seen a movie? It could be a 2-hour movie, and the overall movie wasn't good, but you've seen some great acting in this scene at the restaurant. That doesn't make the movie, it's not enough to save the movie, but you're like, okay, that was a good scene. That was a good shootout scene in the alley or whatever. So that's what it was with Ryan. By no means did he look supreme in that fight. And that's what I said from the beginning. I think the Haneys clout chased Ryan Garcia. They clout chased Gervonta Davis particularly, and they were looking for a big fight, a major fight They wanted to build off of the Regis Prograis performance. But in doing this and taking the loose cannon version of Ryan that had already lost, you end up putting more pressure. And then with Ryan's antics, and now De La Hoya saying he was 30%, it actually set you back to take this fight. It was a lose-lose for Devin. And it became that when Ryan decided to promote how he did. He promoted it like a maniac. He was acting weird. He was acting undisciplined. That's no way for a fighter to truly be in training camp. And then he like marked up Devin, had Devin all puffed up and swole up. And De La Hoya just said he don't care. They're trying to say he was on steroids. He was 30%. Now, the cheating, we don't get down on my channel. I don't condone anybody cheating. Henceforth, why Ryan is being suspended. But again, this did not age well for Devin Haney, just based on the fact that, remember, Ryan turned away at the press conference and people were saying he was afraid and Devin was going to beat the brakes off of him. And Devin was calling him a C+ fighter and saying he's an A+ fighter, talking real Floyd Mayweather-like. The only difference is Floyd Mayweather never in his whole entire career had a performance as bad as Devin Haney versus Ryan under any circumstances, including a SARM like Osterine. Devin's dad, Bill, also was making threats saying we're going to 187 unalive Ryan Garcia in that ring. You know, Ivan Drago voice, if he die, he die, you know. And none of that came true. Now, Ryan's popularity, for whatever reason, continues to remain the same. And Devin's, he's kind of been out the spotlight. Recently, he's been popping back out a little bit more. But, you know, he has a situation with the carnival and fighting a civilian. That was weird. That doesn't hurt. I mean, excuse me, that doesn't help your brand any by fighting a civilian. And now De La Hoya is saying no rematch. What's the point? Ryan was only 30%. I still think they should actually rematch, so I don't agree with De La Hoya there. I think a rematch is, you know, if the record shows that Ryan was on Osterine and the Haneyacks and Devin Haney are going to claim that we lost solely because Ryan was on something, a rematch is definitely warranted. But I don't see them chomping at the bit to make this. And you guys keep saying Turkey is saving boxing and stuff. Well, Turkey's the man with the money and the platform that works with both Devin's recent fights and also Ryan's recent fights. You guys have the platform, but I guarantee you this fight doesn't happen. The rematch doesn't happen next. You know, Devin will probably come and fight someone else. But in terms of Ryan being 30%, to me, that sounds very believable because he didn't look. People, they were saying that Ryan, they were trying to say that Ryan having the extra weight was to his advantage and Tank sucked him down to a lighter weight. This is the narrative that people were saying, but I actually feel it's the opposite. Ryan was in his first real big fight, so he put everything into that camp. Plus, it was at a catch weight of 136, which would require discipline and it required sacrifice. So you had a more focused Ryan Garcia, and he hit the number. And skills were what separated Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. I truly believe that because Ryan looked the same in both fights, minus he looked like a sloppier version versus Devin. But in terms of his approach, his attack, his mentality, it was pretty much the same. The difference is Tank's ring IQ. He wasn't falling for Ryan spamming the left hook button, trying to pop that left hook and no setups, walking in the front door. Tank wasn't having that. Versus Devin Haney, he got caught in the first round with it. Tank was slipping under and blocking and countering right after slipping the punch. So completely different level to the ring IQ. But I don't think that Ryan was sharper in fighting Haney in that fight. He did his thing when he did his thing, you know, when he wasn't doing the Victorville shell. But throughout the totality, he didn't look better than he looked in the Fortuna fight or Tank fight or even Duarte fight coming off the Tank loss. And I think this is going to be a road back, a long road back for Devin Haney. I truly, truly believe that. I've said that since day one. Some fighters, when you take such a beating, you might not be the same guy. Like fighters like you say Jared Big Baby Anderson, he just took a bad spill and got stopped. Now, sometimes getting stopped when you're young, maybe that could save you because you got stopped before it got any worse. You didn't get like knocked out unconscious like Jared Anderson. So we'll see what he does next. But for Devin, it was bad because you got this guy who he's bludgeoning you and you're taking the punishment and showing heart and picking yourself back up. So we respect that aspect of it. But long term, that's also the stuff that when you take such a sustained beating tends to stick with you. Like, let's say Pacquiao. Pacquiao just got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez, right? He's out of here. He's just knocked out, done, fight over. So that's embarrassing. People are going to make memes about it. People are going to talk about it. But it's a bit different because you could be like, I was doing good. Like Pacquiao could at least hold his head. Like he looked like he had broke Marquez's nose up at that point. And the fight was like tooth and nail. It was super close. So Pacquiao can at least say, I was in control of the fight. Things were going my way. And I did that stupid stutter step. I want to, woo, 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 do, 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 do. And you did that and fainted. And then Marquez had the beat on you, the read on you. And just followed it up with that right that sat you down. So Pacquiao, even though he was knocked out cold and Devin Haney wasn't, Pacquiao can at least say I was in a firefight, a competitive fight, and I made a mistake, which was my undoing. Devin Haney has to take the beating that he took for 12 rounds and then keep, like his butt is in the air, tooted, and he's picking himself up, but he keeps getting hit and his head snapping all over the place when Ryan started letting his hands go. To me, that could be equally as hard to come back, if not harder to come back from when you're a fighter, because you were outmatched and outgunned in almost every department by Ryan Garcia, and he was sitting you down and hurting you. And then now if the rematch don't happen, you're gonna always have that cloud over you. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Ryan Garcia was only 30%. Interesting.